Voice of Indonesia.
2 days ago, Indonesia commemorated the National Press Day. And I'd like to play you first the address made by our President Prabowo Subianto.
Selamat Hari Pers Nasional ke-79 kepada seluruh insan pers di Indonesia. Selama 8 dekade ini, pers Indonesia telah menjadi pilar penting dalam kehidupan demokrasi, menyuarakan kebenaran dan memberikan informasi yang akurat kepada masyarakat Indonesia. Saya apresiasi kerja keras para jurnalis, wartawan, dan insan pers dan media yang terus menjalankan pengabdiannya dengan dedikasi tinggi meskipun tantangan yang dihadapi semakin kompleks.
So that's the address by our President Prabowo Subianto, apparently on the YouTube channel of the Presidential Secretariat. He made a 4-minute address, but we just took several seconds about it. He highlighted the role of Indonesian journalists so far in not only promoting but also safeguarding Indonesia. And at some news outlets, they highlight more about his address related to hoaxes. But today, listener, we are not only going to talk about the press in Indonesia. We're going to talk about the press in the global perspective, with the 3 guests has been joining us, 2 from the Zoom and 1 in my studio. And first, I would like to say hello to Ibu Devi Yanti Farid, a journalist from Voice of America. Good morning, Bu Devi.
Good morning.
And I'd like to also tell everybody that in my studio, there is a student of media and communication from Australia, Roa Ahmed. Hello, Roa.
Hi, how are you?
And also Bapak Munadil Amukse, the head of Communication Sciences Department from UPN Veteran Jakarta. Good morning, Pak Munadil.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, so I'd like to begin with Ibu Devi first. So, Bu Devi, I would like to know, in America and Indonesia and Australia, we have different perspective about press. And I'd like to know the first one coming from America. How is it in America?
Well, the press is seen as the fourth estate in the European context. You know, there's the commoners, there's the clergy, there's nobility, and then there's fourth is the press. So they hold accountability of officials who basically govern the state. The press holds the watchdog role. So investigative journalism, you know, they are very, very important to uncover corruption, abuses of power, unethical behavior in government and private institutions. They also, you know, inform citizens, inform decision-making, because a well-functioning democracy relies on informed electorates. They use the news, the analysis that they watch on all forms of media to really be able to make a decision, especially during the elections. They also provide a platform for debate and free expression, because the press facilitates discussions on those important social issues. They also ensure that the government is transparent. There's the Freedom of Information Act in the US that empowers journalists to access government records, ensuring public scrutiny of policies and decisions. And they also basically expose misinformation and protect the truth. That's basically what the press is around the world, including in the United States.
Okay. And I'd like to have some comments from Roa. What about in Australia? I mean, some Indonesians think that Australia is also a Western country. Is it the same like the ones we have in America and Europe?
Yeah, it's very similar to what Ibu Devi has been saying about the press in America. In Australia as well, considering it's a multiculturalism, Australia kind of where it's not just a country, it's a whole continent with lots of voices. So I feel like the press plays a vital role in like representing all of those voices that we have, and as well, not just on an international level, but on a national level as well. We as for example, people who live in Sydney would like to know about people who live elsewhere in another state in Australia. So the press plays a role in educating us about the whole of Australia and in the same time representing voices from around the world. It also plays, as Ibu Devi said, it plays a vital role as well in elections, referendums, to just like inform the public about what is going on and hold politicians accountable as well.
Okay, but do you also, the journalists in Australia also scrutinize the government, just like in
Yes,
America?
we have the Code of Ethics, which includes, which is from MEAA, which is Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance, which holds both journalists accountable for accuracy and obviously trustworthy journalism. But then we have the freedom of expression, where gives the journalists or gives all media experts the freedom to expose the government or expose any politicians about misinformation, disinformation, or just like policy reforms in general.
And Pak Munadil, is it the same as we have in Indonesia now?
I think overall is in over the world is same, yeah. Media have the same things and the same objection, yeah. A lot of people searching information about the election and about the what happened today from media. But now it's very interesting. I have one research to collect data from the millennial. Yeah, most of them they seeking information from media social. So not only media mainstream. Now they seek information from the TikTok, and then from the X and Instagram. Now they shifting in Indonesia, because we know that Indonesia is one of the big country who have millennial and Gen Z, and now they're shifting. Not on the media traditional. They maybe some of them seeking information in the Instagram platform, like you have Instagram platform, yeah. Like that. Indonesia now have very interesting and shifting like media ecosystem right now.
Okay, and we'll talk more detail about between the conventional media or the mainstream media with the social media, but I'd like to go back to Ibu Devi. So everyone, we have been comparing between in America and Australia and also in Indonesia, and there seems to be a lot of similarities between the three of us, but I would like to know, in reality, is all that is realized, or is there any challenges against this function and also the freedom of press, Bu Devi?
Well, the press itself does face several challenges, and one of them that you can find anywhere in the world in every newsroom is bias. And that is something that every journalist has, because we're all humans. We do have opinions of our own. And it's up to us to be able to hold each other accountable in trying to be more objective in our, coverage of several issues, and try our best to balance and really share both sides of the story, because everything in life can be seen in different perspectives. And we, as the press, need to be able to highlight those differences and basically give that opportunity to the people, the consumers, our audiences, to make an informed decision. And another challenge that the press also does face is, censorship. It doesn't have to be a government censorship. It could be also something that they face in their own newsrooms, whether it is indirect or direct. And there's another challenge is the press in Indonesia. A lot of my friends can attest to this, is, they sometimes face the challenge of being able to live a normal life in terms of they're able to afford the simple things, and have a salary that is sufficient. And that's what I've heard that some journalists face, especially those living in the regions. So there's the economic challenges as well.
Okay, not only in the newsroom, but also the economic challenges. What about in Australia, Roa?
This is very similar to Australia as well. The press, I think it's facing the issue of censorship, not as Ibu Devi said, not just from the government, but as well. We have like the bias reporting as well. We had like an incident at ABC News where one journalist shared two articles. One was on Ukraine and Russia, and the other one she didn't specifically share an article, but she shared something on social media regarding Gaza genocide, and then immediately got fired for that. But when she shared about Ukraine and Russia with the biased opinion about Ukraine as well, she didn't face anything. So I feel like bias, and like where we put bias in place, yeah, media should be objective, but then as journalists, we should have an opinion as well. But then like once one incident bias is okay, but the other incident bias is not okay. And then censorship happens for specific issues and matters across Australia as well, especially around Indigenous rights and what they need and the referendum. We had lots of censorship with the referendum as well.
Okay, so in America there's that, and then in Australia censorship is also great. What about in Indonesia, Pak Munadil?
I think similar, yeah. But I want to add one interesting thing now in media system in Indonesia now happen is AI is one of the challenge in media. I have one student, magister student, who researched now media using AI, and it is very challenging in media, because AI, if the media using AI, that it will be happen on the media worker. They will cut a lot of media worker, and then they will use some big data to report the media, and then the impact is about the lot of information. Some information cannot completely, because maybe they use some resource from the social media and etc. So I think the future government also need to have to regulate using AI in media system. This is one mention, because one of my students now research about the impact of using AI in media. And then I have similar issues also about the global issues in media system, that media bias is very big issues, like in Gaza and then in Ukraine, what happened, and then like maybe perspective of Western and perspective of Eastern, it will be always same, but the journalists have one perspective that they should be cover both sides, yeah. So the consumer can get which one is the right issues or right information that they should consume, and they should have get information, the right information.
Okay, so everybody knows about the covering both sides.
Yeah.
But in the implementation, is it as easy as we can say, Bu Devi?
It's not as easy. Being a journalist, you need to strive to overcome your own biases. Like, for example, I have a particular opinion about a particular issue, but I have to also seek out the voice of those whom I may not agree with. So it is always something that we have to put in mind, and also the wording. I'm very attuned to the words, the use of words. For example, we probably have read this word so many times online or on television. The word rebellion or rebels, terrorists, freedom fighters. The usage of words that we choose also will form a particular opinion. Whether a particular criminal is described as depressed, a lone fighter, or he can be a domestic terrorist. So it's also up to us to be able to use the right wording to avoid making the wrong perception, I guess. And I think that's one of the things that Western media should be much more careful about, the use of particular words that are considered approved by the management.
Yeah, facing the management, because the journalists are not only facing the public, the informants, but also the management in their own media. What about in Australia too?
Yeah, wording is a big thing. I feel like because you might not have an opinion in the article you're writing as a journalist, but through the words you're using, it shows your biases and what side you kind of supporting. So being objective is something we all strive for, but it's quite hard to be objective. But then that is what our job as journalists is, to provide both opinions and then let the public choose what they want to believe in, let the public choose what they want to support. Our job as journalists is to provide the truth, and then the public will take it however they want to. It is our job to show them what is happening around us and what is happening in the global context of the world as well.
Okay, so let the people choose.
Yeah.
But before we continue about this, I will not let everybody choose the song on the playlist. I will pick one for you. It is a very short one. And after this, listener, we'll talk more about how media can bring cohesion to the community.
RRI Digital with New Look. Various collaborative content from various national programs, including live visual broadcasts, live radio broadcasts, music playlists, podcasts, video news, and various users' interaction features in the game. Various interesting content such as likes, comments, and shares, as well as live chat with broadcasters and users. Direct messaging and private chat facilities between app users are also available. RRI Digital, available on Google Store and App Store. RRI Digital.
Voice of Indonesia.
And you're still tuned to the Voice of Indonesia, and we are still talking about the press and global perspective, and still related to our president's address during the National Press Day, in which the president is asking the journalists to avoid news that can potentially divide the people. I would like to begin from Pak Munadil. What is your opinion related to the statement of our president?
I'm agree that what the president said about the press today, but I want to highlight about the government also should care about how the future of media industry, because it's depend on not only about the ecosystem, but about the regulation also. Because now I don't know what happened in the revision of Undang-Undang Penyiaran and etc. But it should be more modernized about the like I mentioned about the using AI and etc. And also government also should support journalists for the they should give many scholarship for the journalists to upgrade the education, and then knowledge about the technology, and then how media work not only in Asian, but in American, that and also the last thing is not only media, but the government also should educate the people, to very sure about what is the misinformation, which platform they should seeking information, that if they get one information is like misinformation, so the people also can understand which platform they should trust.
Okay, sir. So, but wait, just before we begin the dialogue again, I've just talked with Roa about having one narrative. I mean, if only one media, one platform that is providing the correct narrative, that then the other is questionable. So, if you, as you said, sir, if there is misinformation, there should be one platform that provides what is true and what is not. What do you think will happen, Bu Devi?
There's a lot of misinformation that potentially can spread on social media and even on traditional mainstream media. There are several media companies out there that rely on clickbait and sensationalism to attract viewers. That is part of the business model. The more views, the more money comes in through advertisements. And so for the media to be able to protect audiences and readers is to be able to really sift through that and not rely on sensationalism. That's one of the things that I hear, a lot of my friends would say is this attractive enough? Is this the title? Is it interesting enough? But if you really talk about, the real hardcore issues that everyone really can relate to, then it is going to be something that people read because it relates to their lives. So we really have to make sure that our consumers and readers are informed and call out anyone who is spreading misinformation and disinformation, because I think it's part of our duty. If they are the users and the readers are unable to do that, it's part of the press's role to be able to call people out if they are misinforming or disinforming people.
Yeah, information is power, and apparently the opposite is not having no information, but misinformation is the opposite of having information as power. And if we back again to the question about if there are a lot of misinformation, how many sources that should we trust to have the correct information, Roa?
I feel like correct information as a term is very subjective. What I view as correct is different to what someone's view is correct.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the press needs to make sure that they're covering all voices, because nowadays with the rise of social media, we have citizen journalism, which is not just based on journalists who join the press and start sharing journalism and all sort of news agencies. We have now people on the ground have nothing, they don't know anything. They haven't studied maybe journalism, maybe they did. They haven't studied media, maybe they did. But they start sharing their voices. They start sharing what they kind of experience at the moment, because when they see misrepresentation or even the lack of representation in media and media outlets, they start representing their own selves through social media, and which is going to create the unbalance between the press and the social media journalism, because now the press needs to account for all of these voices who are now on social media that might create misinformation as well in social media. And then it creates the imbalance that we have at the moment. Which one should we trust? Should we trust the people on the ground, or should we trust the press that we have our trust from the beginning? So I feel like this is an issue that needs to be tackled by the press to ensure that all voices are accounted for, all voices are represented, and everyone is on the news, on the reporting.
Interesting. And talking about the social media, in Indonesia, we have a lot of homeless media. What is your opinion about that? Do you know what homeless media?
What's homeless media?
Homeless media is like an Instagram account providing news, or Instagram or TikTok accounts providing news, but they don't have the company. Unlike, for example, Radio Republic Indonesia, we have our Instagram. We use it to spread the news. But on Instagram, we have a lot. I cannot mention them one by one, but there are a lot, and a lot of people are getting information from that. What is your opinion about it?
I think that's it's not an easy issue to have. Like, yes, we need voices on social media, but then we need fact checking as well, because if we don't fact check the news that we receive on social media, we could be easily misinformed about lots and lots of national and international issues. So that's the balance that I think we should have, is that the press could provide the voices and the trusted news that we think is trusted. And then we see people on the ground kind of saying the same thing, or like kind of reporting on the same thing that the press has already provided us. So we can tell, oh, okay, this information or this account on Instagram that shares news, yeah, I can see it on multiple media agencies. That means that this account is trustworthy. I cannot just like go on social media, TikTok, Instagram, or any sort of platform and just take the information from there. Fact checking is very, very important.
Fact checking is very, very important. And if we can see also the news outlets and also the social media. At newsroom, we have news values, but on social media, we have algorithm.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, they sound a little bit the same. This is the ones that create as the criteria what is news, and this is the ones that will be viral. And a lot of people are worrying that the mainstream media is being left behind with the social media. So how do we balance between the news value, the news ethics, and also the algorithm of social media, Bu Devi?
I think the government can play a very pivotal role apart from the press, is to encourage digital literacy. Our cell phones, we are, at the age where we are very, very powerful when it comes to trying to gather information. Anyone who has a smartphone can access anything, especially with artificial intelligence, with everything, social media, mainstream media. We've got a lot of choices. So how do we educate the public to be able to seek the truth themselves? I think that is an important role that not only the media, but the government can play. Having a curriculum in school to teach about digital literacy. How can people sift through all that noise out there when it comes to information and seek the truth themselves? We have also, friends who are fact checkers that basically give, provide information about any kind of disinformation out there, and seek their services and their assistance to encourage the people to really think before they click. That's very important, because once we spread disinformation or misinformation, it's going to spread like wildfire. So in a way, we have to teach people to be more socially responsible in using it. I always say within my own WhatsApp groups, whether it's among friends or family, if I see something that I would say, oh, this is incorrect, or this is not the truth, please check. I would encourage them to check and recheck with credible sources and have them erase it, because it is something that they spread.
Okay, and it is interesting talking about WhatsApp group of a family, especially. I have a lot of comments about the WhatsApp family because a lot of hoaxes came from there, from your uncles, from your aunts, which is quite sad because they are the ones who taught you a lot of things when you are young. And if Bu Devi thinks that the key is on people's or the readers' digital literacy, I would like to have an opinion from Pak Munadil. Is it from the government and the people? Or do you think that there is another way to balance between the news value, the news ethics, and also the algorithm of social media?
I think we can deny it because the social media have their own algorithm, echo chamber and filter bubble. Yeah. But we, because the social media not own, because they have own company from the overseas. Yeah. But the government should move to. I'm 100 agree with Bu Devi, yeah, that digital literacy should be from the beginning. I have one research about the media literacy that I'm very shocked about that. Many resource young people, they read a lot of many books. They didn't read a book because reading a book is one of the how the people have a critical perspective, critical thing. That's why these issues about the digital literacy should be one of the focus on the government to regulate to push our education about this. Not only learn about AI, but about the how much the book they read. The curriculum should be push the student. This is not only in high school, but I have some problem in university. My student didn't have any book until they use scripture or they thesis. It's very big problem. Wow. By what they know the information only using Google, and then but when they facing defense of thesis, they didn't understand anything. They only should copy paste the information, and then they didn't know anything. This is the big problem in our system. Yeah? But we now facing this. This is our challenge. But we should have any big movement to for our future. Yeah. The second is I'm also agree with the Minister of the Komdiji that the young people should be regulated to use social media. I'm very agree about this regulation. I hope this regulation should be gone very soon, because social media should allow maybe until 18 years. Yeah. Before that, I think they should push our children to read a lot of book so they have own information and very critical about any information they get.
Okay, so from our dialogue, from our comparison between the countries, we also see similar roles that we can play, similar challenges, and also it's not only about the media, about the bias, about the news itself, but also about the people who are gonna read it. Literacy is very important. So thank you very much, Bu Devi, Pak Munadil, and Roa for joining us in this short morning talk about the press in the global perspective. Apparently, I believe that there are still a lot of things that we can say in this, but hopefully this will be useful for all of us. Thank you very much for joining us, Bu Devi, Pak Munadil, and Roa.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, listener, that is our morning talk about the press in the global perspective. You can listen to this broadcast again or to this morning talk again on RRI Digital and also our YouTube channel, VOI Official.
Voice of Indonesia.